sun-scorched deserts of southern Utah, where life clings to every drop of moisture, survival demands creativity. While many plants grow tall and reach for the sky, others take a different route. They spread silently underground, multiplying through roots, runners, and even parasitic threads. This hidden strategy allows certain species to colonize vast areas, recover quickly from wildfires, and even steal nutrients from their neighbors. I'm Travis McGolrick, and I've been working with Ming on our final biology project, an exploration of root-based and parasitic reproduction in native flora of southern Utah and Nevada. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll take a closer look at some of the region's most fascinating plant survival tactics. Ones you won't always see at first glance, but that shape entire ecosystems from the ground up. When it comes to underground reproduction, plants have evolved several fascinating strategies. Some spread using rhizomes, which are horizontal stems that grow underground and sprout new shoots along their length. Others use runners or stolons, which stretch out just above or below the surface, sending down roots and creating clones. Then there are plants that grow new stems directly from their roots. These are called root suckers, and they're often found in species like quaking aspen. But not all plants play fair. Some have taken a more aggressive route. Parasitic plants survive by tapping into the roots or stems of other plants, stealing nutrients and water. In southern Utah, one of the most recognizable is dodder, a leafless orange vine that wraps itself around a host like a web of fine wires. Another is Indian paintbrush, which looks vibrant above ground but attaches its roots to other species below the surface to draw extra nutrients. Whether spreading silently underground or stealing from their neighbors, these plants are masters of survival, perfectly adapted to the challenging ecosystems of the high desert. A fascinating and often misunderstood parasitic plant in southern Utah is dwarf mistletoe of the species Arcethobium. Unlike its more decorative cousin, this mistletoe isn't about holiday cheer. It's a serious stem parasite that specifically targets conifers like ponderosa pine, Douglas fir, and juniper. Mistletoe attaches itself to the branches of its host and inserts structures called ostoria into the wood, siphoning off water and nutrients. Over time, this weakens the host tree, reducing growth, causing branch deformities called witches' brooms, and making the tree more vulnerable to pests and drought. What's even more impressive is how it spreads. Dwarf mistletoe fires its seeds explosively, launching them up to 50 feet onto nearby branches. The sticky seeds cling to new hosts and begin the cycle again. Despite its damaging effects, dwarf mistletoe isn't all bad. Those twisted branches provide nesting sites for birds like the northern goshawk, and increased deadwood from infected trees creates habitats for insects and fungi, supporting biodiversity in subtle ways. In small amounts, mistletoe is part of the natural balance, a quiet force shaping the forest from within. One of the most remarkable examples of root-based colonization in Utah is the quaking aspen, Populus tremuloides. Recognized by its white bark and fluttering leaves, this species is far more than just a beautiful tree. It's a master of underground survival. Instead of relying on seeds, quaking aspens primarily reproduce by sending up root suckers, new stems that sprout from a shared underground root system. Over time, this forms what's called a clonal colony, where every visible tree is genetically identical, all connected beneath the soil. One famous example is Pando, located in central Utah. It's the largest known aspen clone in the world, and possibly the oldest living organism on Earth, estimated to be over 80,000 years old. Though it looks like a forest, Pando is actually a single organism, spreading across more than 100 acres. This clonal strategy gives Populus tremuloides a huge advantage. After wildfires or drought, even if the visible trees are destroyed, the root system survives underground, ready to push up new growth within weeks. That resilience helps aspens maintain footholds in fragile ecosystems and makes them essential to the recovery of Utah's high elevation forests. What seems like a grove of many trees is often a single living, breathing organism, quietly reshaping the land from below. The banana yucca, Yucca baccata, is one of the most iconic and resilient desert plants in the American Southwest. Known for its sharp, sword-like leaves and thick, banana-shaped fruits, this plant has evolved to survive the extremes of southern Utah's high desert through one simple but powerful strategy: underground runners. Banana yucca spreads slowly through these horizontal underground stems, known as runners or stolons. Over time, these runners produce genetically identical offshoots, forming loose colonies that are better able to survive drought, browsing animals, and wildfires. Each individual plant in a colony may appear separate, but beneath the surface, they're connected, sharing resources and anchoring the soil. This helps stabilize slopes, reduce erosion, and maintain moisture in dry, sandy environments. The banana yucca is also an essential food source. Its fruits are traditionally harvested by native peoples for food, and today they continue to feed desert animals like foxes and rodents. Banana yucca is a desert survivor, spreading life where few other plants can. Food-based reproduction isn't just a survival trick. It's a foundation for ecosystem resilience in Utah's harsh, fire-prone landscapes. Take the quaking aspen for example. After a wildfire, most trees die and decompose slowly, but aspen grows come back fast. That's because they regenerate through root suckers, sending out fresh shoots from an intact underground network, sometimes within just weeks. Entire forests can regrow from a single living root system, helping prevent erosion, shading the ground, and creating habitat for birds, deer, and insects. Root-spreading plants like desert marigold and Indian ricegrass are also key players. In disturbed or degraded soils like roadsides or post-burn areas, these species are often the first to return. Their runners and rhizomes stabilize the soil, reduce dust, and prepare the ground for other species to move in. Even parasitic plants, while they may seem destructive, play a role in balancing competition. Dodder, for example, can suppress fast-growing dominant plants, giving slower species a chance to survive. And Indian paintbrush, a hemiparasite, forms symbiotic relationships that actually boost the diversity of local plant communities. Together, these plants help shape Utah's ecosystems, not just by surviving extreme conditions, but by quietly engineering the recovery, balance, and biodiversity of life above the surface. Despite their resilience, root colonizing and parasitic species across southern Utah and the broader Southwest are facing serious threats from climate change, human development, and invasive species. King aspens, which rely on massive root networks to regenerate, are being hit hard by prolonged drought, hotter summers, and more frequent wildfires. These conditions weaken the root systems and reduce the chances of successful sucker growth, and in many areas, entire colonies are dying off. Yucca faces a different set of challenges. Urban expansion, off-road recreation, and overgrazing can damage or uproot slow-growing colonies. Since these plants reproduce gradually through runners and otherwise only produce fruit every 5 to 10 years, disturbed sites often fail to recover for decades, if ever. Dwarf mistletoe is under threat too. Logging, fire suppression, and the shift to managed forests reduce the diversity and structure that mistletoe depends on, threatening the species that rely on it, like the goshawk. Invasive plants like cheatgrass also spread aggressively through disturbed areas, crowding out native root-spreading species and altering fire cycles in ways native flora can't keep up with. If we lose these species, we lose more than plants. We lose the invisible systems holding entire ecosystems together. Throughout this video, we've explored some of the quiet powerhouses of southern Utah's ecosystems. The root colonizing and parasitic plants that survive, spread, and shape the land from beneath the surface. Waking aspens rebuilding entire forests after fires, to banana yuccas anchoring the desert with underground runners, to mistletoe and dodder rebalancing plant communities. These species play vital roles in keeping ecosystems healthy, diverse, and resilient. This project was created by myself, Travis McGolrick, working alongside Ming. We hope it gave you a deeper appreciation for the hidden strategies of root colonizing plants and parasitic plants too. Thank you for watching.